Hi, hello everybody. My name is Katie and I am a student at Iowa State University and I'm studying to become a teacher. So today you're all going to work together with me on some math problems. First, let's go around and do some introductions. So like I said, I'm Katie. And what is your name?
Catherine.
Okay.
And my name is Emma.
And Emma. Alright. So we are focusing on multiplication today. Have you been studying that already or working on that in class already? Yeah. Okay. So we're going to go around and just go to each of you and you are both going to tell me the hardest math problem or the hardest multiplication problem you know how to do.
I could probably do 10 times 10.
Okay.
I'll just say 9 times 9.
9 times 9? Alright. Great. That'll help me just review a little bit, know where we're starting from. So we're focused on multiplication today, and so we're going to learn and review the meaning of multiplication. Can anyone tell me what factors are in a multiplication problem?
Those would be the two numbers that you multiply together.
Okay, great. And then what's the name of the answer, or what do we call the answer in a multiplication problem?
Something with a P, is that a product?
Yes. Okay, so when we look at a problem, do we know what factors represent?
Numbers.
Yes. In a multiplication problem, we look at the problem with the two different numbers. So we look at the first number as the total number of groups that we're using, and the second number is the total amount of objects in each group. So when we multiply the number of groups by the number of objects, we figure out the total number of groups. Do we know that concept? Is that familiar with everyone?
Yeah.
Okay. So an equal group is another term that we use in a multiplication problem. So an equal group means that each of our groups that we assign in the multiplication problem all have the same amount of objects. So today we are going to practice representing multiplication problems, and we are going to use an egg carton to signify the number of groups by we have little spaces in the egg carton. We have 18 in this one. And then we are going to use beads, colorful beads, to represent the number or the different objects or the number of objects in each group. So we are going to pick a multiplication problem, and we're going to start with 9 times 8, just since we know that you both can do higher multiplication problems. So in the problem 9 times 8, we're going to start with what does the 9 stand for?
The number of groups.
Yes. So I'm gonna count out 9 spaces in the egg carton. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're just gonna use these 9 groups. Does everybody understand that? Okay. And then the second number, what's the second number in the problem?
8.
Yes. So 8 represents the number of objects in each group. So then I will count out 7 and 8 beads, and I will put 8 beads in one of my 9 groups. So I will do that. 6, 7, 8. And I will do that for all of them. 5, 6, 7, 8. And then, so when we can look at a multiplication problem, so we have, like I said, our 9 groups. 8. We can look at it, so we have the total number of objects is 8. So we can look at it as 8 plus 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 8. So 8, 9 times, adding together 8, 9 times to look in that problem. So do we know, so when we do 9 groups of 8, we can get, does anybody know the answer? The product?
72.
Yeah, 72.
Right, we have 72. So we have our 9 different groups with 8 objects in each, and our total amount of beads that we have represented is 72. So now we're going to move on to the next problem, and I'm going to hand each of you a blank sheet of paper. And then we both have pencils or pens. And then I'm going to choose a multiplication problem, and I will ask all of you a question of which step we're doing in the multiplication problem. And then you will write it down on your piece of paper, and then just hold it up when you're ready so I can know when we can proceed with the next problem. So first, I'm going to choose a problem, just 4 times 9. We'll do kind of just an easier one. So what does the number 4 stand for in the problem? So if you know the answer, write it down.
4 times 9.
Yes. So what does number 4 in the problem stand for? So 4 stands for the number of groups
Okay.
in the problem. So we have, go to the other side of the egg carton. So how many spaces am I going to count out in my egg carton then for the number of groups? 4 to represent the first number. So we have 4 spaces in the egg carton. And then we have 9 is the other number, is the second number, so that stands for the number, represents the number of objects in each group. So we have, so how many beads am I going to put in each of my 4 groups? 9. Yes. Alright, and then, so if we have 9 beads in each of our 4 groups, how do we count that out in addition? So we have 4 groups of 9. So we have 9 plus 9 plus 9 plus 9. Okay, awesome. And so then we can count it out, and we have put our 9 beads into each of the spaces. So then what is the total or the product of this?
36.
36. Great. Okay, so 36 is the product, which means we have 36 total beads in our 4 spaces. And then we are going to try another practice problem just to see how everybody's getting the hang of it. So we're going to do 5 times 11. So let's try this again. So 5, what does 5 stand for? It represents the problem.
Groups.
Number of groups. So we'll count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spaces in the egg carton. So we have 5 spaces, and then our second number is 11. So how many objects or beads will we have in each of the groups? We'll have 11. And then, so we'll have 11. And then, so how do we do that in addition again? Because the multiplication is basically just addition of equal groups. So we are going to do 5 groups of 11. So we do 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11 plus 11. 5 times. And then what is the product of this problem?
55.
Yes, correct. Awesome. So we have 55 total beads represented within 5 groups. Now, one last practice problem, and we're going to do just a little more difficult one to give you guys some practice. We're going to do 12 times 8. So we have 12 again, and what does that represent?
Groups.
Number of groups, and then the 8 in the problem.
The number of beads we have in each group.
Yes. So, another one. So we count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have 12 whole groups, and we'll have 8 beads inside each. And then, so what is our addition problem for this?
8 plus 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 8.
12 times. Okay, and so what is our total product then in this multiplication problem of 12 times 12 groups of 8? 12 times 8, what's our total what's our product do we get? And you can
9.
count it out on your sheet of paper as well.
Would be 96.
Yes, correct. Awesome. All right, so do we understand kind of the concept with median multiplication, the number of groups, the number of objects? Okay, now if I were to switch the numbers, so if I were to put, for 12 times 8, if I were to put the 8 in front and the 12 second, so it'd be 8 times 12. So how many groups would we have then?
We have 8 groups.
8 groups and 12 beads in each group. Does that change the total product?
No.
No, because we'll still have the same amount of beads represented, just in a different way, because we can switch it that way. Great. So I think you are all ready to do this on your own. What do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So you're gonna each do the activity individually. Just pull this out. So you'll each get an egg carton, very big egg carton, and some beads there. And then I'm going to hand you each a sheet with multiplication problems on it. So we have one for you. You can write your name at the top. And there are plenty of multiplication problems on there. And so all I want you to do is pick 3 that you first represent with the beads using the number of groups and the number of beads in your egg carton. And then once you find out the product, write the product next to the multiplication problem on the sheet. Once you have done 3, you can raise your hand and we'll see how much time we have left. And then we can either do more or we can represent them for each other. So go ahead and start. Great, so each of you did 3. All right, and what problems did each of you choose?
I chose 2 times 5, 3 times 4, and 4 times 11.
Great, so you used some 2-digit.
I did 3 times 4, 9 times 2, and 8 times 3.
Awesome, and let's see, we'll just check it over and we'll see what you got. Looks like you all did them correctly. Awesome. So we did some great work today. And now you all know how to represent multiplication problems and even got to try a little more difficult problems if you were up for it. Since I'm going to remind the group and myself what factors are in a multiplication problem.
The 2 numbers that you multiply together.
Yes, and then what about the answer in a multiplication problem? What is that called again?
The product.
Yep, and then, so we learned what the first factor represents in a multiplication problem. You want to tell me what that is?
The number of groups.
Number of groups, awesome. And the second factor?
The size of groups. How many objects?
Yes, awesome. All right. So have anybody started learning about division yet? You've been going over that in class?
Maybe started a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it is a little different than multiplication, but only in the way that it is the opposite of multiplication. And multiplication is something that you're going to use more and more as you get older, and I use it all the time in college still, and I am becoming a teacher. But thank you for your hard work today.
Thank you.
Thank you.